Good evening, Drew.
Hey Paul, how are you?
I'm so excited I could spit.
Okay, yeah, we got a lot to get into tonight. How do you
How
want
you doing?
I'm exhausted. I'm just
Yeah,
I'm just
it's been a long
exhausted.
week for me too.
Yeah, been a very very long week. I put in a lot of hours this week. There was a lot going on. If we get time at the show, I can talk a little bit about some of the cool stuff I'm doing. But we got oh boy, we got a lot to do here. Okay. Let me start things off. So I sort of how do I want to do this? So I sort of teased this week that I had a special treat for you.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I like
Okay.
treats.
Yeah. So hold on. How do I I'm trying to figure out how I give you this treat.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Let me try to be smart for once. Okay, there it is. Okay, so listeners of this show will know that for our big Christmas special last year, we got each other gifts. And when I say we got each other gifts, what I really mean to say is you got me a gift, and you got me an exceptionally generous gift. And I got you a gift too, but I also gave you a job. Like you had to.
You bought me a lifestyle.
I did. I bought you a lifestyle that takes work. And
Yeah. Okay.
I am a naturally guilty person. I believe in everyone getting a fair shake, and I still feel like I could have done more for our holiday celebration podcast. And it was with nice. It was with this spirit in mind that I decided to do something.
Okay.
I have employed somebody to make us some new podcast artwork.
Oh wow.
Okay, so what I have
okay,
for you
okay.
is I have new headshots for you and I, drawn by an artist. I'll talk about this artist here in a minute.
Okay.
Drawn by an artist that you already have some artwork from.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to can I add a file in Skype? Okay, hold on. We're in the troubleshooting part of our.
You can always email it to me.
I'm going to email it to you, but here is your new podcast artwork.
Oh, that is spectacular.
All right, so let me explain. So there is an artist that you and I are both familiar with, and his name is Kevin Budnick, and we will plug him endlessly because he's such a good dude. He, used to be associated with the podcast Due by Friday. He used to work for Cards Against Humanity. He has since sort of divested himself of all of that because of that unpleasantness.
Yeah.
And he is sort of freelance right now, and he had tweeted that he was looking for work. So I reached out to him and I said, "Hey, Kevin, big fan. I am interested in getting some art." And I thought we could start with headshots of ourselves drawn in his style that he draws as. So what I did is earlier this week, was it this week or last week? I can't remember. I don't know. The days are all sort of...
I don't remember either. I think it was earlier this week you asked me for headshots.
Yeah. So I had asked you for a particular headshot that you were proud of. So I sent him this, and he has a very unique style. This is
amazing.
We will link all of the things. And what I'm going to do is I'm also going to email this to you. Let me just do this right now. Paul Baylor headshot from Kevin. Attach files. Hold on. We're doing it live. Leave all this in. We're going to there. All right. So you got a higher res version.
Okay. That's
He also did one of me. And it didn't turn out as good as yours. It's not his fault. It's just that I'm not an easy person to draw. So he's sort of touching mine up a little bit.
Okay.
He sent me an update today, so he's finalizing that, and we'll get it sent out. But these are our new podcasts.
That's incredible.
Yeah, these are our new podcast avatars, basically. And he's also agreed to do us new podcast artwork, like a new album cover for our podcast.
Oh, this is incredible.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
I literally have tears in my eyes. This is so amazing.
Yeah, Kevin is a hell of an artist. He has a very unique style. He's an excellent illustrator. He is on Twitter at Knitted Sweater is his Twitter handle.
Wow.
And he's got a fantastic website. He is currently freelance. If you are listening to this and you're looking for some artwork, he's based in the Chicagoland area. Not that matters in our digital world today. I would say definitely reach out to him. He's super easy to work with. Honestly, like, it was as simple as, send him an email, super responsive, got this done super quick. It's a very unique style, and I know that I certainly appreciate his artwork and his style. So I decided to sort of do this. Now, okay, so this is sort of part one. Now, part two is not done yet, right? Part two is going to be the podcast artwork. And I told him that before I sort of sent him on his way to start that work, I wanted to have a conversation with you and with the besties, because what I want is I want a podcast like cover, right, that shows up in iTunes or your podcast player of choice of our new avatar faces and things that like make up our podcast. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay.
So we need ideas. Okay? So if you're listening to this right now, what I would like you to do is send us in Twitter form, email form, whatever, however you want to send it to us, just do it from 6 feet away or whatever. But like, send us what you think we should put in our podcast artwork. Like, if there have been topics like in the show, right? Because like I'm really tempted to like put a leaky computer like on it, right?
Right? Definitely,
right?
Maybe a flat tire,
right? Like a flat tire or a battle jacket, like things that if you've been listening to us for a while and like that there's things that we've talked about that you think should go into the cover art of our podcast. I'm up for ideas. We just basically need to collect it and say, Kevin, here's what we want. We want our faces and we want these things sort of in the background, like, and then the logo, I'm sure we're doing our best, right? So that's what we need to sort of put together. So, if you're listening right now, and I would like to hear kind of your thoughts here, Paul, and we can sort of jot them down, but I would, if there's other things that people can think of that would make good, like, background artwork for our podcast, I would say let's hear it. So what are you thinking?
Okay. Oh, I mean, a leaky computer definitely has to be.
but I know, and that kind of. But to be fair, my computer's never leaked. It's just that it's water cool. I know. Yeah. I'm trying to. Yeah.
But it invokes the story.
Right.
Oh, geez, I'm gonna have to think about this.
Yeah.
I don't even have to go back through the show notes.
Yeah. So that's like that's your homework. That's my homework. That's the besties' homework to go back and think. Just get some ideas down. I would like to get something over to him this week, primarily because like I already sort of like pre-booked him, right? I don't want him to like be waiting on me. So like I want to send him like the ideas and sort of lay it out. And get him all that stuff so we can get going. But that is the listener's homework corner for the week. So what should be in our podcast logo or artwork, or what's the right word? What's the right word for this?
It's like the show art. Yeah.
Show art. Yeah.
Yeah.
Show art. So send us your ideas. Send vote early, vote often. I would like to get something over to Kevin but later this week. But yeah, chances are if you have ever like got anything from Cards Against Humanity or you've listened to other podcasts that Kevin's been on, he streams, he does live streams of his artwork and his video games. Like, just a super, super good dude. Just his big heart,
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
I'm a big fan.
This is literally incredible. I cannot like.
Yours turned out amazing. Wow. Yeah, yours turned out amazing. Mine, I have big. What's the name of that? What's the name of that? How do I say this? What's the name of that comic? It's the French kid that's bald. What's his name? You know what I'm talking about? Kalu. What's his name? I don't know how to say his name. Caillou, Caillou, right?
Caillou
Whatever.
or something.
Yeah.
Caillou, yeah.
Yeah, mine is big that energy here. This is me. All right, this is mine.
That is good though.
It's pretty good, but
yes,
I sent him a different head pose, and we'll see.
Okay,
but yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So there's our new podcast artwork. That will probably be my Twitter, or whatever the updated one he sends me will be my new Twitter avatar.
Yeah, that's gonna be my Twitter avatar here before the night's over.
Yeah. So there is some new show artwork, and there is more to come.
Wow.
It's pretty good, right?
That's incredible. I'm literally I have to keep like drying the tears out of my eyes. That is incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, and listen,
wow,
you could you could hire a lot of people to do like a headshot, right?
Yeah.
And you and I have some decent regular photographic pictures of ourselves, even by my standards. I think some of mine look pretty good. But Kevin has a very unique style. I can't even really begin to describe it, but if you check out our new Twitter avatars that'll be changing probably this weekend or by Monday, you'll kind of get what we mean. And when we do the show art, it'll be a thing. So anyway, that is for you, Paul. That is your new treat.
Wow. I can't even. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's
you.
Wow.
I can't wait to see all of it. This is amazing.
Yeah, I thought you would get a kick out of that because I know we're big fans of Kevin. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna shut up now.
Actually, the funny thing is I actually I haven't been back into my office where I used to work for a long time, and actually I want to go back in and get some of my stuff. And one of the most things I really want the most is some artwork by him.
Right.
Done for the Do By Friday podcast. And I was actually thinking about it the other day. I really need to go and get that artwork.
Yeah.
And now I have one of my own. This is incredible.
You have your own. Oh. All right. Okay. So that's part one of the business. So if you're listening and you have ideas of things that you think would be funny or sort of sum up what our podcast is about, send us your ideas. It could be in my head when I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking of I'm sure they're doing their best in funny letters, right? And then pictures of you and I in a circle, and then things orbiting us, right? Things that we talk about on the show, or we just have him draw one thing and put our logo under it. Right? Just okay, yeah. Right, not even our faces, just one thing with our faces, right? And then we'll take it from there. So I sort of want to crowdsource this one a little bit and see what people think. Obviously, Paul, your opinion matters more than the listeners, but
yeah, I'm gonna do my homework. That's for sure.
Yeah, think about it. Okay. I'm going to shut up now because at the end of the last episode, you completely derailed me by sharing something that you recently obtained, and I'm insanely jealous to the point that I ordered one, and I have an extremely big bone to pick with you. But we're going to get to that later. Yeah, we're going to get to that later.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm mad.
Okay. You're mad?
I'm mad at you. Not for the reason you think, but
okay.
We'll get there. So that's more foreshadowing. See, I'm setting it up, keeping people engaged. All right. So you teased me with this last week. So I think we're at a place now where we can officially talk about your new thing. So
yes,
just take this away.
I bought a thing. I'm holding the thing in my hands right now.
All right.
So I was kind of getting the itch to kind of get back into retro gaming, emulator, stuff like that, and I started looking at the whole Raspberry Pi thing, and I got that's kind of passe. And as I was looking around, I found there's this entire this category of product that I had no idea existed, and it is the portable handheld emulation device. And I bought one of these. What I bought, and I'll put a bunch of links in the show notes, is the Anbernic RG350M. It is there's a whole 350 product line. There's an original 350. There's a plastic one. There's one that's vertical. This is kind of the luxury model. It's got a nice metal case. It's got a it's 640 by 480 LCD screen, which is a higher resolution than some of the other models. It plays it has like I think it's a 1 gigahertz processor. It runs a version of Linux called Open Dingus. Yes, I can't make this up.
No, and that's amazing, by the way.
Yeah. It runs, all the stuff you would imagine. It runs, Super NES, Genesis, Game Boy Advance. It also does PlayStation 1 games, and it has all of the right buttons. So it's got 2 analog sticks in the correct location for the PlayStation lifestyle. 4 face buttons, 4 trigger buttons, a D-pad. Yeah, it's honestly, it is a spectacular little device, except for in all the ways that it's not. Anbernic is a very Chinese company. In fact, they don't even have an official website outside of like a storefront on AliExpress. Like, there's no like official website where you could download like drivers or get updates. Right? It's just like, boom, you buy it. It's your problem now. It takes a long time to get them because a lot of them ship from China and have to come along on a boat. So, like, here's... Oh, and one more thing. So it's got 2 SD card slots. One that is kind of, it has, like, the operating system. It has, like, the applications. Another one that you can put your ROMs on. I mean, they're both mini SD. I ended up replacing the ones that came with it because there were like no brand name on them, and I thought, yeah, these probably will die in like 4 days. When you get it in the box, it is like, America, copyright be damned. It is just chock full of like ROMs, just a ridiculous amount of ROMs.
Okay, so I'm gonna interrupt you for a second. Okay. So I think we need to be not careful, but I think we need to kind of explain for people who don't necessarily know what we're talking about, right? So when we were growing up, we had Nintendos, we had Genesis, we had Atari. Like, as we got older, we had Super Nintendo, PlayStation, like all these different game consoles. Well, like, you can't even really find a TV that you can hook those things up to anymore, let alone if they still work. So there is this concept of emulation where you can download a program from the internet that basically simulates running that particular hardware on your computer, very much like you would do with a virtual machine for Windows per se. You run this shell that simulates the hardware of the particular gaming console that you want, and then that is the emulator. And then the other part of that is when you want to play a game, instead of physically inserting a disc or a cartridge or whatever you would use to play this game, you basically load a ROM, right, which is a read-only file, as a lot of these cartridges and CDs were, that basically simulate or emulate the loading of those bits to the emulator's memory, and then you hook up a joystick or use your keyboard, and you play these old games. Now, typically, and we've sort of touched on this a little bit on this show before, the way that most people are doing this these days are, like you said, with the Raspberry Pi thing, but that has its own problems too. And I have sort of talked about some of these before, where like if you have a 4K TV, it's kind of a little pain in the butt to get working correctly due to modern scan rates and pixels, and it's not as straightforward as it sounds. It's not hard, but you're gonna have to like probably read a subreddit or some forums to solve your particular problems. And if you want to do like wireless controllers, like, good luck. Like, it's just there's a lot. Now, the thing that you're talking about here is intriguing for a lot of reasons. One, it's entirely self-contained, right? It is a
yes.
It is a handheld that does everything I just said, except it's a handheld that you load the things to and you play in your hand.
It's about the size of the original Game Boy Advance. If you the longer one, maybe like 2 packs of cards side by side.
Mm-hmm.
So it's but it's tiny, but it's still good size. Fits in your hands. Got a good nice weight to it. Feels good. Yeah, and it, like Drew said, it just like all the emulators are already on there. They all work. So yeah, it was really intriguing for me. Just to have something that was like I said, the Raspberry Pi has been done to death, and I have to hook it up to the television, and and deal with all of that, and like you said, the 4K problem is like it has to scale up the image no matter what it does, and you get poor performance, and like this doesn't have any of those problems. It's got other problems,
right? And here's the thing, like when I want to play these particular games, I want to do it like from the comfort of my bed at night or on my couch or all these different places. And I'm intrigued by this. So you shared this with me last week towards the end of the show, and it was going to be a show topic, but after I wet myself with excitement after you showing me this, I was like, you know what, we need to wait a week. And I did this both because in the interest of time, because it was getting late in the show last week, but I wanted to order one. But before we talk about my experience trying to source this device, a couple other things to mention here. So, like you said, it's a relatively small device, and this particular model is the RG350M, which we think the M stands for metal.
Metal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it is.
Well, I know it does because they now came out with an RG350P, and the P stands for plastic.
Oh, well, what was it? What was the original then?
So there's an RG350. There's a regular one, and the difference between that, the 350 and the 350M is basically the screen is on the M is double the resolution, and it has the dual thumbsticks to play PlayStation games.
Right. So okay. So
and they moved one of the SD card slots from being like literally internal, like take the screws off internal, to being accessible.
Right.
But basically, it's the better case and the bigger screen, which the bigger screen is nice, especially for PlayStation games.
Yeah. Right. So basically it has a resolution of 480p, which most, most original PlayStation and console games were not widescreen. So it's perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect aspect ratio.
It's absolutely perfect.
Perfect aspect ratio. Now, you're not going to be able to play PlayStation 2 or N64 or like PS3 or
Dreamcast, any of that crap. Nope.
You're out of luck, right? Because one, it's not powerful enough, and two, the resolution probably isn't going to be big enough, right? So like you're kind of out of luck, right? But if you're looking for,
it's squarely PS1 and earlier. That's what it's going for, and minus N64 and Dreamcast. Those are the same time, but
right.
Yeah, but honestly, this hit the spot. Like, I was interested in playing Super NES. There's some Game Boy Advance games that I grew up with that I'm really enjoying playing again. PlayStation 1 games, Genesis. Like, that's the stuff I wanted to play. So this is perfect for me.
Yeah. So okay. So now we're going to get into my grievance with you, and that is I tried to order one of these goddamn things, and I have no idea where it is. Okay.
Did it ship with DHL?
Yes.
Okay. So what has happened is, so it's DHL is all lies and damn lies, and I learned this by doing research, and other people have bought this stuff. Okay. So literally what has happened is, like, DHL will generate saying like, hey, it's coming, but it will do it in the port that it's going to be coming in, but it won't tell you that it was on a boat or sitting through customs. So from the time you get this the first notification until you get the next one, it is literally on its way from China and sitting in customs. That will probably take about a week. And then it will spark back up, at least a week, right? And then it will spark back up and start moving through the system and eventually get transferred over to the U.S. Postal Service. So don't panic. It's just that it's literally coming from China, and
All right, so
it takes a while. Okay.
Yeah, so and here's the reason I freaked out a little bit, right? Because you had said that, from the store that you bought it from, right, which is where I bought mine, your advice to me was just buy it from where it's in stock, right? And if you look this up on, say, Amazon, a lot of them are saying, like, you'll get it in August, which is like a month from now, right?
Yeah.
There are some that are available to ship tomorrow, but they're either the older models or the rose gold model, neither of which I'm interested in.
Or, like, I found some on eBay, like, people had them in hand, but they were literally going for, like, twice the cost that I spent for. And I spent around $100 on this. Sometimes you can get it cheaper. It goes between like $150 is pretty much a good.
I think all
it.
shipped mine was like $118 or something. So they're not crazy expensive, right? If you get them directly from the mainland China. Yes. Okay, so you said and I forget if you mentioned this either on the podcast or to me in a text message. I don't have my phone with me right now. You were like, pay for the faster shipping and it'll get through customs faster. And I thought I did that. Okay. I don't know. I thought that I selected that.
I don't remember if I said that or not. If I did, I said it. I didn't do it.
I did
Let's see. Hold on. Okay.
So all right. Yeah. So hold on. We're gonna go through this live. So we're gonna go.
Okay.
Okay. So listen. If you've been listening to this, hopefully you're looking at the show notes, and there's gonna be a ton of links in here. I will call out in the show notes the store that we bought it from, and literally you can get this for $109 if that's all you want. You can only get gray or rose gold. You cannot get the black one, right? So I ordered a gray one because I think it looks pretty nice.
That's what I have. Yeah, it's really nice.
So you add this to the cart, view cart, and check out, and then proceed to check out. Oh crap! I have to sign in. Hold on. Wait a minute. I thought there was a thing where I could pick expedited shipping in this thing.
I don't remember. Hold on. View cart and checkout. I just went through I just paid through PayPal.
I did too, but I thought there was a thing where like you could say expedited shipping. All right. So I ordered this, I want to say late last week, probably on Friday after we were done recording, because I literally went 24 hours of not doing it, and I finally did it. And I was hoping, beyond hope, that it would show up so I could enjoy it on the weekend, and it has not showed up yet.
Mine took about a week and a half, and when it finally showed up and started moving through, like there was basically a week where it was just DHL was like, meh.
Yeah.
Your package is somewhere. And then once it got to California, it took like 3 days to actually get to me.
Yeah, that's where mine's go, like Hawthorne, California or something.
Yeah. So that's a port.
Yep. I looked it up. Yep. Yeah, I looked it up.
Yeah. So eventually it'll start moving again. Don't panic. You hopefully will get it. So here, I just want to finish up by giving like some general overall the good and the
please,
bad. Okay,
please.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the good, it feels amazing. It's got a nice weight to it, but it's not too heavy. The buttons are really responsive and have a good feel. The thumbsticks are, I believe they're literally the same thumbsticks that the Switch uses, which is bad because I know those things have a high tendency for drift. But if I have to replace them, I know I can get my hands on them. All the emulators run great, even up to the PlayStation 1. Sometimes they do take some some of the defaults are really weird because the PlayStation 1 has like interlacing turned on by default, and I don't need that. But once you get stuff running, it works great. Drew, it has rumble. It has rumble.
Oh, it has rumble.
It rumbles. It rumbles.
Okay.
I missed this completely, and I was playing some Gran Turismo 2, and it was sort of vibrating, and I was like, oh my goodness, it has rumble. Yeah, it's got rumble.
Wait, Gran Turismo 2, isn't that PS2?
No, it's PlayStation 1. Yeah.
Really?
It came on. I think I've decided Gran Turismo 1 is better. Gran Turismo 2 is it. They made a big deal because the game shipped on 2 discs. One was the arcade mode and one was the simulation mode.
All right.
Okay, so yeah, it may have also been PlayStation 2, but yeah. Okay, so but here's the bad. Here's the bad.
Okay.
The first is so there is absolutely no support for this thing, right? There is no website where you can go through and download updates or whatever. It's all community driven, right? Now, granted, there is a great community around there. I put a link to like the subreddit that like deals with this family of products. There's some good websites that kind of consolidate stuff and give you tips and tell you how to install different emulators and do updates. But like none of it comes from the manufacturer. They're like, you buy it, it's your problem now. But it's fine. So it's very hobbyist, right? It's very like you can go on Etsy and there's this guy who 3D prints different colored buttons for it, so you can take it apart and replace some of the hardware. Like it's extremely hobbyist, which is kind of cool. But it's not a singular product, right? Like each emulator works differently. Like you kind of have to have this cheat sheet about how to like use them and even like quit out of them at some point. Some of the apps, like some of the even like the built-in apps, like the built-in like file explorer, you end up just having to like press buttons. Okay, how do I quit this thing? Is it this button? No. Is it this button? No. Do I hold these two buttons together? No. So again, very hobbyist. There is, when you're playing a game, there's no way to know what your battery is. It's got a like 2,500 milliamp battery in there. It lasts about 5 hours. But to check your battery status, you literally have to quit the game you're playing and go back to like, the operating system. It's a minor complaint. And this thing is weird. So the first thing I wanted to do, well, not the first thing, but I ordered a couple of more SD cards to replace the ones that came with it, because like I said, they're just like no name like SD cards, and I wanted to get something bigger. So I had to like transfer the files over, and the main SD card. It's bizarre. There are two partitions on the sucker. One is a 200 megabyte FAT32 partition. And then the second one fills up the rest of the drive and uses ext4, the typical Linux thing.
Right.
And man, finding software that like didn't just puke all over that was tricky. But it's very nerdy. But eventually I got it through. I found a community website that actually told me how to do it, and I installed some software, and it would have been easier if I could have got like Gparted, which is a good like disk management thing to run in a VM and be able to use my SD card reader through my Mac. That was a me problem, not a that problem, but I end up having to use some weird Windows software to get it done.
Well, okay, so I think we should talk before you go on, right? I'm sorry to keep interrupting you, but like,
no, you're good.
In my reading, right, what I'm told is that, when you buy this thing, you're going to get a minimum one memory card that comes with it. If you pay a little bit extra, you get that memory card with like the ROMs that
I think you'll get both of them. Yeah,
which is like, how is that even legal? We don't even know. But
it's not like, it's just middle fingers copyright law. Like yeah.
But I'm told that like basically the first thing you're going to want to do when you get this thing is basically back up your OS memory card.
Yes,
right, because if you screw that one up, like it's you haven't bricked it, but like there's no place to like re-download this.
you're literally going on Reddit and saying, hey, does anyone have an image for the 350M that I can have? And then they send you a file, and
so basically the first thing you're going to want to do is get a couple spare memory cards, basically use a disk imaging tool to image the memory card that has the OS on it. And then, like, back up that image in the cloud or wherever your favorite backup of choice is, and then create a new memory card image from that image, and then use that. And basically tape the original one, like, inside your case or something, like a break glass, like my device is broke.
I have a Ziploc bag that I need to put someplace that has the SD card in it and a note that says original RG350M SD card in the bag. Right. So I got to find a place to put that. Yep.
Okay. All right. So before I get to my questions for you, what else do you want to hit on this?
No, like all in all, for like the $120 I paid after like shipping and tax, like it's amazing. Mm-hmm. It's quirky, but it works so well that I can live with the quirks. And like most of the time, you're not dealing with like you're just playing a game. Like, As far as like the emulation side, it works spectacularly well. I could not be more impressed with this thing.
Right, and I think the thing that eventually sold me on this, and again, this is coming from a person who has built many Raspberry Pi emulators and like has even built like mobile ones where I've like tacked a screen on a Raspberry Pi and like played it and everything. Like, yes, I know I could make this thing if I really wanted to. I could even 3D print a case to do the same thing if I wanted to. But I think the thing that definitely like sells me on it is you're getting an aluminum case, which I suspect is where the bulk of the cost of creating this thing comes from.
I believe it is as well. Yeah. And honestly, it's like it is really a joy to hold. It's got this. It's the perfect weight. It's got heft. Like it does not feel cheap. It doesn't bend at all. It doesn't give, but it's not too heavy. But like when you hold it, you know you're holding something that was like actually designed well. In fact, even like on the back, it's got a couple of two rubber pads on it. Well, it keeps it from like slipping off the table, but also gives your finger something to hold on to that's not like the smooth metal. And they're like in the perfect spot. It's and like I can throw this thing in my back pocket. Like the buttons almost like they don't stick out too much. So I'm not too worried about them getting caught in my pockets or anything. Like when I actually start, the world opens back up, I can start taking this with me or throw this in my laptop bag, just to have with me all the time. Yeah, it's so good.
Okay, so all right, so I think that's a pretty glowing review of the device, right? Like, yes, you're probably still gonna have to deal with a few little quirks. I've read that the other sort of quirk is this thing does have an HDMI out port, but like it's not turned on, so you have to like hack it. Like you basically have to SSH into your device and like enable it and all this other stuff. But like
apparently, like the version I got has the firmware that works with it, but even then, it's kind of like it only outputs in like the resolution of the screen, so like 640 by 480. So if your TV can't handle that, you just get a black screen. But I'm never gonna plug this thing into the TV. That I might as well just put super glue in that port. Like,
right. All right, so now I have some questions for you that I wasn't necessarily able to find answers for, and I think part of that is laziness. Okay. I'm sure if I Google, I could get these answers, but I'm just going to straight up ask you. So the first is, can you connect this thing to Wi-Fi?
It does not have a Wi-Fi chip built in.
Okay.
I have seen people buy Wi-Fi adapters. In fact, like there's a link I have in there to like Wagner's Tech Talk, which seems to be the best website. Like, and technically he's talking about the RG350, but a lot of the stuff works as well. And he mentions a Wi-Fi adapter that works with it, but I don't. So no, and I have no interest in getting it hooked onto the internet. I'm perfectly fine just popping up my SD card, putting more ROMs on it, and I'm going about my day.
Yeah, so the only reason I asked that is that I may or may not have a bunch of video games that fell off of a truck on some network storage in my house, and that's typically how I use them for my Raspberry Pi, right? So like,
got it. Yeah.
So like, that way I don't have to buy a huge SD card. I just have to have one big enough to run the Raspbian OS or whatever, and then I SSH into it and say, hey, here's a bind mount that points at my NAS, and there's a bunch of ROMs there, right? So like that's the way that I have done it in the past. That's the only reason I ask. Not that I'd be super thrilled about putting like some weird off-brand Chinese thing on my network, because I'm sure that has implications. But so that doesn't. So it sounds like I'm going to need a pretty big chunky SD card or series of SD cards to house the different games.
Again, ROMs are small. Like I only have. I didn't put like all the ROMs I have on there. I just put the ROMs I wanted to play. That way I'm not going through menus and digging for them.
Yeah, there is that.
So I have a nice curated set. So yeah, I'm only using like 1 gig of 128 gig card. So
okay, all right. So next question then. Does it have Bluetooth?
I do not think so.
So you can't. So here's the reason I asked that, right? So assuming that you did hook it up to the TV, you couldn't necessarily like you couldn't do what I do with like my Switch today, where it's like I have a dock that I plug my Switch into that goes to my TV, right? And then I have a wireless controller or the controllers from the Switch, and I can play remotely, right? So the only reason I would ever consider hooking up to the TV is if I could, like, have a remote controller that works, right?
Now, again, on this website, there is some links to some Bluetooth adapters that appear to work. But again, your miles will vary. No, it does not have Bluetooth built in.
Okay.
Like, I don't even think there was any kind of radio or networking equipment built into this at all,
that
except
we know
for
about.
like what Open Dingus supports via USB.
Open Dingus.
Open Dingus, I know.
Dingus. That's the best. I call my dog Dingus.
Yeah. And like the app you launch to like browse files is called Dingus Commander. Like it's it's delightful.
Dingus Commander. Oh my
Dingus
God.
Commander. Yeah.
That should have been our podcast name. All right.
I don't even know if I can take screenshots of this thing on the. I don't know. Huh.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you're okay, quick pause here. So hopefully by this point, if you're a regular listener to this show, you know where to go to get our show links. All the things we're talking about, there's going to be a wealth of links in this thing. And when mine eventually clears customs, which who knows, I'm sure that I will have some things to look at. But I would say that the most important link that you have in our doc is the one that goes to that Wagner's Tech Talk, where he basically has a living document of here's where you get firmware, and here's where you get apps, and here's how to make your HDMI port work, and like that's where all of the good content comes from. So
yes, exactly.
Yeah, and
it's a very useful. He just collects data across the sites. A lot of it's links to other people doing stuff for, but it's a nice one-stop shop for all this information. Because, like I said, there's no official Abernick website. There's nothing.
Right. Yeah, you can't find me. You can't arrest me. Right. It's like, yeah. So yeah. So, and the reason that I bid on this is I have had a burr up my butt and a bee in my bonnet. Both? I don't know.
Yeah,
both.
Yeah.
To play some retro gaming, and I recently tried to do the whole Raspberry Pi 4 thing with my 4K TV upstairs, and it was just a nightmare. I couldn't get it to perform the way I wanted it to, because I think the Raspberry Pi is trying to upscale it to 4K, which that's going to be a no from me, dog. Like, that thing isn't powerful enough to do like Mode 7 like Super Nintendo stuff without some screen tearing. So it's just like, yeah, I'm sure I could dig into config files and make it work and this and that, but at the end of the day, I just want something that I can, like you said, I just pick up and I play and I put down when I'm done. So,
yeah.
Now, did yours come with a charging cable?
Yes, it did. There's no wall dingus, but it did come with a USB-C to USB-A cable for charging. Now,
as I understand it, there are two USB-C ports on it. One of them charges and one of them doesn't?
Yes, one of them is for charging. The other one it's labeled OTG, which I have no idea what that stands for. But apparently if you plug in like a keyboard or other adapters, it goes into that one.
Okay.
Again, OTG. Yep.
Now, did you buy like a wall dingus?
I'm just using some stuff I already have. So I have plenty of those.
Like an Apple one?
Right now, I've used an Apple one. Right now, I have the cable plugged into a USB port that sits on my desk that's powered by my my Thunderbolt 3 dock that my Mac uses.
Okay.
So it's powered no matter what, and it seems to do the job just fine.
Gotcha. Okay.
It hasn't made it a spicy pillow, so.
Nice. Okay. All right, yeah. So I'm intrigued. Like I said, I caved and I ordered one. I was hoping to have one to talk about on today's call, but yeah, it's just
next week.
I'm hoping,
hopefully.
man. I'm hoping.
Hopefully, yeah.
And I really want to play some PS1 and Nintendo Super Nintendo games. Like, I just want to do that.
I've been spending a lot of time playing some Game Boy Advance games and playing some PlayStation games. Like Tony Hawk 2 runs great on it. Like Gran Turismo runs great on it. What else am I gonna? I have too many games I want to play. I really want to get through Golden Sun on Game Boy Advance before I start, getting getting my teeth into anything else.
Yeah.
But it's wonderful.
Good.
Absolutely wonderful.
All right, yeah. So I think that's. I mean, I'm sure that unless I get it, my experience is horrible. Yeah, I think it's gonna get a recommendation from us. Yeah. And as far as buying it, like you could use the store Paul and I used, which seems to be pretty good, right? The PayPal receipt was interesting, but
I did my my PayPal account or I can't remember if I used PayPal or credit card, but neither one of them got cancer. So,
all right, and
it's legitimate, and I got it. So they're a real website, 100% legitimate website.
Yeah. We can't say it's a 100% legitimate product that could be sold on stores like a stores here in America, but
no, absolutely not. But it's delightful.
Yeah.
All right.
Should
we move other stuff to next week?
Yeah, let's make this a standing item. Hopefully, mine will be here, and I'll have some time to play with it, and then we'll do another update. But you have added something else to the doc here that I want to know more about. So tell me about this Dark Knight's Metal thing.
Okay. So I started reading the Dark Knight's Metal story through through DC Unlimited, the app I don't recommend anybody get for any reason. So the story is told over 20 comics. I have read 4. Okay. So 1/5 of the story. Basically, it's like the 2 prequel episodes, which were called Dark Days of the Forge and Dark Days of the Casting. And then I have read issues 1 of 2 of the actual Dark Knight's Metal story. Okay. It definitely... You get these big, powerful superheroes like Superman and Wonder Woman and The Flash. And like they have to keep one-upping all the stories to get people interested. So it's definitely got that superhero problem of like, it's absolutely bonkers. It also, it likes to reference other storylines. Like it's definitely like, this is a big event. Like it's pulling in all these different storylines together. And I mean, spoiler, there's a little bit of spoiler territory here. Basically the gist is, all these organizations, secret organizations, have been secretly kind of grooming Batman to become this doorway to summon this evil ancient bat god into the world, and I think destroy everything. And they've been doing that by kind of like exposing him and like either exposing him to or filling him with different metals. There's comics, right? Okay, he has all these different metals. The last metal that he needed exposed to, and I took some screenshots here.
Oh no!
Is literally called Batmanium. I can't make that up. And most of it makes sense, but there's like this group of immortals that are trying to prevent it, and. Can I read something for you? I'm going to read you a panel, Drew.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. And it's literally this group of immortals who are trying to prevent Batman from becoming the doorway to summon this evil bat god monster thing. And here's I'm going to read you part of a panel here. You will take the Anti-Monitor's astral brain, and you will fire it through the core of the multiverse at the Rock of Eternity and destroy the dark multiverse once and for all. That's something they printed.
Okay. So if I'm hearing you right, this is dog shit.
I mean, I'm only 4 issues in. And some of the artwork's really good. I mean, the artwork is spectacular. But it's, I mean, literally in the episode, in the issue I just read, I think Batman actually became the doorway and summoned the Bat God, and now all of these alternate evil Batmen have come through and are attacking the Justice League, and one of the Batmen has these like Robins that look like Jokers on a leash. Like it's just like they're not making a movie out of Dark Knight's Metal.
Okay. Now, Now, again, sharp-eared listeners will know that we briefly touched on this comic last episode. So this is the first part of this series, right? There's another one after this, right?
Yeah, I'm really reading this so I can read Dark Knight's Black Metal.
Okay. Stop hitting yourself.
Yeah.
But it's bad, right? It's bad,
not.
right?
It's not great.
Okay.
It's not great. I think that
does Batman actually solve crimes anymore? Like,
no.
Okay, it's like
I don't think he's like. I get this feeling that like Batman has turned into like the person that the Justice League kind of just tolerates. Like he doesn't have any superpowers, and he's real broody. But Clark Kent really likes him, so we let him stick around. Yeah.
See, and again, this goes back to why I feel it's just too late for me to get into comics.
Oh no! Like you absolutely should not read this as about like. Luckily, like it does make kind of sense because it is pulling some stuff that happened with the Court of Owls storyline, which I really enjoyed. It is pulling in some of the stuff
that's supposed to be good.
It is good. And it is pulling some stuff in from Death of the Family, that storyline. Like, and it turns out like, oh, each of those storylines expose Batman to one of these like 8 different dark, evil, heavy metals, like actual metal. And now like this is the culmination of all those things, and but yeah, and the comic makes references to other things, and I didn't read those comics either. I have to do a quick Google search to see what they're talking about, or just go, comics, and just move on. Which is what I'm doing most of the time. It's just, comics.
Yeah.
No, it's not good, but I've only got 16 more issues to go. The problem is like usually, like a comic book is usually only like around 30 pages. You know, it's not intense reading. I do like to enjoy the artwork, but like it only takes you like maybe 10, 15 minutes to really get through a comic if you go slow. And the issue I'm hitting is like something so bizarre and stupid would happen. I can't read any more of this issue. And then I put it down and go do something else. I have to come back.
Yeah, see, that doesn't sound like a good comic experience.
No, it's not good. Especially when I could sit and play, Tony
Video
Hawk
games,
on my
right.
RG350M. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one.
Oh.
All right, I'm going to move the topic that we were supposed to talk about last episode and this episode out one more time.
That's fine.
And we won't banish it away because it's something I'm dying to talk about, but more details are coming out. So
Me too. Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah. All right. Oh. Well, why don't we start wrapping this one up?
Yeah, indeed. As always, you can find us on the internet at doingtheirbest.com. You can reach us on Twitter at doingbestpod. So again, if you have suggestions for our new artwork, please send them via Twitter, or you can find the email address on the website. And you can find me on Twitter at Paul Baylor, soon with my brand new Kevin Butnick drawn avatar. I'm very excited. And where can we find you, Drew?
Yeah, I'm on the Twitters at Pittsburgh, PITTFURG. I'm over on Twitch at PITTFURG as well.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, Paul, enjoy your video game that I can't play.
I will.
And hopefully I'll have mine to talk about next time.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. See you, everybody.
Thanks for listening.